You're watching Moms Matter virtually at EverTalk TV. I have Pamela Salzman, who is a cooking instructor and a holistic health counselor, joining us from her home in Manhattan Beach. Thanks for being here today.
Oh, I'm so happy to be with you again. It's so nice that we can connect in this way.
Well, I'm super excited to have you because all the mamas, all the papas, anyone who is at home right now quarantining is preparing more than 3 meals a day. And you make it look so easy to create healthy, nutritious meals. So tell us your secret.
You know, truthfully, it's all in the planning, and it's all about keeping things simple. Like, nobody should be trying to be, do anything outside of what their best abilities are and the resources that we have at our disposal. Okay. So it's not a competition. This is not time to prove anything. We just got to do the best that we can. And I think that the quarantine has also helped people understand that, you know what? Sometimes we don't need to follow a recipe exactly. We are allowed to just make substitutions based on what we have, and it's all going to be okay. So something that I think can be very helpful is, number one, just coming up with a plan for the week and making sure we're, being able to have that plan, because a lot of us are just going grocery shopping once a week or once every 2 weeks, and look to see what you have and then what you can get and then plan accordingly. It's also very liberating to have a plan, because then you're not thinking about food all day. You're just kind of like, okay, every Monday we're going to do this. So this could work for some people, but it might not work for everybody. But my kids know not to complain to me, because I'm not going to have it. If they want to make their own food, they can. But I tend to be like, with older kids, I'm like, you're on your own for breakfast. You know that you need to get good fat and protein in your breakfast. So do that. And then for lunch, that can be a little bit more organized. And, the same thing goes for dinner. But for little ones, I would say just coming up with a routine for breakfast, and where every Monday it's going to be pancakes, and every Tuesday it's going to be oatmeal, and every Wednesday it's going to be muffins. That way the kids know what to expect, and they're not going to ask for pancakes every single day. They know that only Monday is pancake day. And the same thing goes for having pasta, because I think pasta is just one of those things, it's so easy, and the kids, that the kids are going to like it. So instead of making pasta every single day for lunch or dinner, name one of the days a pasta day, and then the kids know that they're going to get pasta on that day. But really, I think the name of the game is really just planning ahead.
Right. And so you do that on Sunday. You sit down and you just make your menu for the week, right?
I've been doing that my whole life. My mother did it. I do it. I've been doing it even before I was a cooking instructor. I did it. I have a binder. I kind of look in my binder, see what's happening. Now it's more like, okay, what do I have? What is going to need to get used up first? On Friday afternoons, I do what I call the fridge scan, where I do this every single Friday afternoon. I look to see what I have that needs to get used up, and then I put that into my meal plan. So let's just say I've got some broccoli that I need to use. Right. So broccoli is going to become a side dish somewhere, but pretty quickly, right? And then I look in my pantry and I see what I have. I look in the freezer to make sure that it's not just some graveyard of foods that we don't know what to do with, so we just stick them in the freezer. I'm really careful about labeling things and making sure that they just don't go out to pasture. So I try my best to like take something out of the freezer every week and make sure it gets used. And then, I work with what I can get.
Okay.
That's kind of how my system works.
Right. And so being super organized is really the key, so that you're not frazzled and trying to whip things up last minute. But what are some easy staples that you can share with us that we can incorporate into our meal planning for the week?
Yeah. First of all, you don't have to make everything from scratch. There are a lot of good, clean products out there that didn't used to exist 10 years ago. So there are great salsas, great tomato sauces. Personally, I like making my own dressing in bulk, and I like to freeze some salad dressing for later weeks and then have one in the fridge at all times. But, I eat things like tofu and I can whip that up kind of quickly. Tortillas, I think, are a godsend, and there are so many good ones. They can be made into so many things. You can make a quick Mexican lasagna or do tacos, or you can just heat them up and make them in a sweet version. You could roll them up with nut butter and a banana and slice it up. So I love having tortillas on hand. Plus, to me, I love canned fish. So I like to have like glass jars of oil-packed tuna. I like to have cans of wild salmon. It's just like a quick and easy add-on to a salad, or you can make little patties out of them really fast. I love having beans in cans.
Right.
So beans are a staple for us. We eat a lot of beans, and that's not to say you can't cook them, at home. You can, but it takes a little bit of time.
Right.
So just to have a can of beans, again, drain, rinse, add it to a salad, mash it up, add some onion sauteed and some garlic, and all of a sudden you've got like some refried beans, and you can spread it on top of a tortilla. You can add it to a pasta. I did in my class last month, my online class. I'm not seeing people, but
Right.
I blend white beans into pasta water and then add it to tomato sauce. And then you've got like a quick protein that your kids don't even know is there. It just makes the sauce kind of creamy. Right. So there's lots of ways you can use beans too. To me, as long as I have onion, garlic, and olive oil, like I can do a lot with that.
You're good. That's your base.
That's my base. Like I can make, that's the start of a lot of recipes.
So our households have different palates, right? All the kids are different. Hubby's different. We're all different in what we want. And a lot of moms are complaining that their kids are just so picky, and it's so hard to get them to eat healthy. Are there any staples or anything that you put into your sauces or things to get these kids to have some nutritious meals?
Okay. The first thing I'm going to say is that there are no magic recipes. Okay, so I'm not going to tell you, if you add, nutritional yeast to your broccoli, your kids are going to love it. Doesn't work that way.
Right.
What you are doing now is just planting seeds for them to be healthy eaters later on. You're going to model good eating behavior, and that's our job. It's just to provide a wide variety of fresh food. You keep trying, and that's how you get a healthy eater. That said, there are definitely things that you can do, and this is just going to depend on your kids, right? So one thing that I like to, my kids are older now, but I used to like to get them involved. It really does help them sort of be more invested in what you're making. So either at the beginning of the week when you're doing your meal planning, say like, I'm going to have everybody be involved in what we pick for the week. Everybody gets to pick one meal. So you can be a little bit democratic about it. The other thing is you can have them help you with the meal preparation. Start early. If you want dinner on the table at 6:30, don't ask them to start helping you at 6. Okay.
Right.
So if you know you're making green beans because you planned it out, they can start trimming the green beans when they have a break at 10 o'clock in the morning or at 12:30. And that way you're patient and it's a very pleasant experience. The other thing is like we have to be a little bit flexible with kids. I mean, sometimes their palates just aren't mature enough. So I used to say to my son, if he said he didn't like something, I'm like, okay, your palate isn't grown up yet, but it will be. One day it will be like mommy and daddy's. So give them a little bit of leeway. So what I like to try and be flexible, at least with my kids, my son he still's a little bit picky, I'll be honest, but not at all the way he used to be, is I used to make him what he calls plain food. So that said, he'll eat plain chicken breast, but I don't want plain chicken breast. So then I'll have a sauce on the side that then I could add to my chicken breast and he can have his plain. And then I'll make plain roasted cauliflower because that's his favorite thing in the world. And maybe I'll add, a little za'atar to mine or, a salsa on the side, or I'll whip up some turmeric yogurt and I'll put that on mine, or a tahini sauce on mine.
Right.
And so that way we can all still have the same meal, but I can just enhance mine and he's still eating something healthy.
Yeah, that's great advice. That makes sense because you can make it all one way, but with sauces, everyone can kind of pick a different sauce and a different taste for their palate. So I love that.
Yeah, I mean, that way, like I'm not making, the roasted tomato chicken with capers, and then I've got to make him, fish sticks.
Right.
I don't have time for that.
No, nobody has time for that, which is why I'm so excited for your new book, Quicker Than Quick. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us what inspired you to write your new book, and give us a little glimpse into why it's called Quicker Than Quick.
Listen, my students are the ones that asked me for this book, because here it is. They were like, Pamela, we need more quick recipes. And I'm like, oh, I've been teaching you some quick recipes lately. They're like, no, we need quicker than quick. Like, as in, those weren't quick enough. And we don't want to do too much in advance. We want to come home and start from zero and then have something on the table quick. I'm like, okay, I get you. So that's what I started developing, are these recipes that, and all my recipes are tested on my students. I teach them in classes. So they're really, I make sure that I'm saving the ones that have the best feedback, that I've totally 100% perfected and are clear as day. So it's honestly the way I'm cooking for myself now too. They're not the only ones. I am busier than ever. I have my own business. I work all the time. I'm cooking all the time. And sometimes at the end of the day, even though I'm capable of being in the kitchen for an hour or making something that has a lot of steps, I don't really want to. And I'm perfectly satisfied with a lot of recipes now that are fast. There is a time where I'll say, I'm kind of craving a whole roasted chicken that takes an hour and 10 minutes, or, that stew. But I kind of save those for the weekends or like a Sunday night now. So the recipes in here are designed to be 30 minutes or less for people that have experience in the kitchen. If you've never cut an onion before, it might take you a few extra minutes than it would take somebody like, you. But I would say 90% of the recipes are 30 minutes or less. I mean, some might take an extra couple of minutes, but they're also meant to be flexible, because that's the way I teach. There are so many people who have allergies in their family, or maybe they're trying to eat a certain way that's different from the rest of their family. So I can't, I don't want to write a cookbook that's limiting. I don't want to write a book that's like all dairy-free recipes, but I want to be able for somebody who is dairy-free or vegan to pick any recipe in this book and know how to tweak it. So that's kind of where the inspiration comes from.
Well, I'm super excited for your new book, and I thank you for joining us today. I know you're super busy, but those are great tips. And for anyone who doesn't already follow Pamela Saltzman, I'm telling you, she's amazing. Her recipes are awesome. They're staples. So many of your recipes are staples in my house.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure having you on the show.
Same. May the force be with all of you.
You saw it all right here at EverTalk TV, and we'll see you all next time.